Hello everyone, welcome back. Uh, Today, as promised, I will be picking up with where I left off last Wednesday and getting on with the next level of this little game development project I'm working on. And we're going to be moving on to one of the more complicated levels from here on. The tutorial last week was fortunately fairly straightforward, but from here there are more objectives and more for the player to do, which means more work for me. Now, because I am but one woman, I need to be looking to make the most of the space I have and the assets I'm able to produce. Present ones accepted. And as you can see, I already got started a little bit last week on this, got just a little bit done. The first objective, securing the landing zone, which I still don't want to be a very difficult thing. And yes, and with any luck, if we can get this level done this week, that'll set a nice precedent for me. But I should get right into it. So, as I was about to say before I cut myself off, I still want this first objective to not be a very difficult one, at least not very long one. It is the first proper level, and it's just the objective meant to get the players moving, let's say. So let's see, I will get the music going. Oh, this is nice. Turn it down just a tad. And let's see where we can take this. Right, first thing I want to do, and this is definitely jumping ahead a bit. Make sure I've got a decent pen size. No, I want to make that a little bit bigger. Is the player comes down on this landing platform here, where you've got you've got a couple of existing ships in the area, you have a handful of enemies and a load of cargo. Now I want this to be a place with some scale to it, so what I'm immediately going to do is I'm going to grab this and copy it out. We're not going to keep the same layout, but we are going to move this back to, let's say, here, because I want the players to be able to come back out at some point and see where they started. At least in the distance. What could we do that? That can be objective 5. we're we're dealing with the players sabotaging a military industrial complex. Let's real quick shore up the line work on this. Most of it's, after all this is going, because that's going to be remade later. We'll figure out what actually is going to what we're actually going to fight here, the kind of things we're going to encounter once we get a bit closer to it. Frog in my throat there. It'll probably be more of these enemies. This first level is going to have very few enemy types. Oh, no, not that. Meanwhile, while I'm working on this, the first objective I've got lined up is meeting up with human auxiliaries. I must admit, I put that down not entirely knowing how I'd tackle it, because this is a shooter. It's very focused on that, and I'm not going to be trying to shoehorn in a vehicle section or a stealth segment. So that locks out a few of the options, but I still want to make it work somehow. So I may need suggestions as I go on as to how exactly we make these individual bits start to gel together. I'll just redo that line there. Same with this one. Okay, that's enough for there. And we'll put another entrance just here for later. Walkway of some kind that they can come across and step onto. That said, we probably want to make... See, I'm already having ideas for this area. Let's cut this off. Because I want... If the player is going to come in from here, I want them to actually at least part the way round. Hey Don, glad you could join us. How are the shrimp? Hmm. Yeah, I heard about the fires over there. Other the smoker side, are you okay? Not having to evacuate, are you? Yeah, this is just a service walkway, but there needs to be some other major route. I'm gonna put in a blocked off. So I'm gonna put in a blocked off freight elevator just here. Okay. Well, at least you're not having to. Poor air quality is, yeah. Here it is, rough what is going on up there. Some of the people in my Pathfinder group are dealing with that as well, about half of them. So it's kind of a crazy thing for me because I don't think I've ever been I don't think I've ever been anywhere near a regular size forest fire. Never mind one that size. Let's tuck this back in. Just make a long channel up to there before they get out into anywhere. Now, I suppose the best way to tackle this objective, the human auxiliaries thing, would be to make a little web of places, a few streets and blocks that can be wandering around. Hey, fool. Ooh, you've got a fancy thing next to your name. I see. Fire Prime. Imagine a really thick fog. I think it's slightly yellow. Tint it slightly yellow and make it smell like a campfire. Yeah, I've been near bonfires and know what the smoke's like. Just yeah, the scale those things must happen at. Right. So I think I'm gonna put a few boxes down, and then just see about merging them up. Give the software a second to catch up with me. Three, right? Three's right. Let's put one there. There. Oh, no, don't want to rotate you. Oh, no, don't want to take that too. No, thank you. Many people have just died as a landing platform merged with them. Acquire the map from the guardhouse, sabotage the fuel line. This is the capital of Ottawa. Damn. Yeah, that's back to the old pollution days. Sheesh. that's proper industrial revolution, except nothing's even getting made for it. Oof. Global warming. Fun. Okay, meet up with human auxiliaries, acquire the map from the guardhouse, sabotage the fuel line. I keep doing that, I keep forgetting that's what I've copied. Okay. I think that'll do for the blocks. So let's merge them, rasterize, and start messing with them. Okay, we're going to just link these up, make this little pocket area that you can move through. There'll be a number of enemies to be dealing with, regardless of the route taken. But we'll put our objective. Actually, let's actually get to that. Let's actually get the green first, because I need to actually decide where that gets placed. And that will be objective 2 pops there. Objective 1 starts the moment you land and lasts not very long at all. This one I want to make it linger a little. A couple of sub-objectives essentially to make you move around the area. But we need to link it all up first. I'm getting ahead of myself. And this place is mostly intact by the standards of the. Oh no, I don't want to take them off that way. I want that to be quite a narrow path. Opens up there. These are all going to be representing streets and alleys and so on and so forth. Whoops, wrong rectangle. Oh, yes, that one I just drew. No wonder the others have much neater lines. Weird. This is with 100% hardness, by the way, and it doesn't. If you're soft, it still feathers the edges. Just cause problems when I've been doing other drawings, the channel art and such. Let's also take this off this way, because we'll want a little central through route here. And I'll turn that into a little inner square. Because it's meant to be one of those big dystopian kind of cities. I guess a comparison would be a less techy Total Recall. The very heavily concrete everything, and you don't even get the cool cyber mods for your trouble. You just get to live there, and it sucks. While I'm linking these together, how is everyone else? I know that Muta is slowly is trying not to suffocate, but I hope that not everyone is faring quite as unfortunately. Just vibing. Link this down to back here. It's a real kind of roundabout effort there. I'm still experimenting with the playlists I add, but this artist, the artist currently playing Vila, I have there are two songs that really stuck with me from this artist that I just kind of picked up and ran with that I love. Majesty and I think Apology. So fingers crossed we get those today. Don't know how many songs she has. I do take recommendations, by the way, for stuff to play while I'm doing this. At least ideas to add to the pot. Oh, that was the center of this little web of buildings almost gave me a panic, almost made me panic just there. It was taking on a very concerning shape. I'm sure I don't need to explain what. Yes. We'll probably want to lead the players back through here. So I'll put something a little more stand out just there. Come on, map, work with me here. I might... My current plan is that the players will have to, from here, work their way up to here. But I'm thinking I put reinforced areas here and here so that the players can go up through here, then here, if they have if they're feeling up to the task of fighting through these much more heavily defended checkpoint sections, with the routes around being longer and having probably the same or more enemies but more spaced out, so each encounter is just that little bit easier. But those who want to find the quick way through just can, though that will rely on my ability to make compelling AI. Damn. Actually, maybe I'll if I can find that. Yeah. For as consolation for what you're currently dealing with, Don, I'm gonna send you something as well. Something, the latest thing that I'm working on that you'll probably like. It's actually undergone changes, but I don't want to open it on stream just yet. And I think I can tell your reaction. I think it'll be the same as the last time I sent you one of these. Yeah, exactly as I thought. A gib moke gib things. Okay, this'll be the you'll probably see in a in a couple days full. It's stuff I'm working on pretty quick at the moment. I'm quite happy with the work that I'm doing. Nothing I'm doing on channel though. It's all branding related stuff. That's just been a whole lot of fun to do. You've seen that's good to know. Maybe once I actually get it done, I'm not too worried about getting a live thing though, because I need to figure out how to rig all this stuff. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. Hmm. Let's make this an angled one. Need to stop just making all these blocky lines. I ain't coding in Source. Plan is to do this in Unreal Engine, either 4 or 5. It's where I've had the most experience. Hang on, there's something on my mic. There we go. I'm gonna restructure this the same way. This layout kind of sucks. Slide this down here, and then like I'm giving the players the most direct route they want to take, but then I'm gonna put like automatic weaponry down it or something. Like this is not going to be these two literally straight line routes are not going to be the easy options by any means. There's not going to be any secrets to getting through them. It's just going to be lots of firepower. You need to link these two up though. This is think a hive city, big big dystopian uh, big dystopian kind of place. I was for this area I was kind of inspired by the look of Darktide. Like there's processing stuff everywhere. It's not a nice place to live, and there's a lot of hence why I'm keeping things quite angular at the moment. It'll change later on as other forces come into play, but this is just meant to be the very unfortunate dystopia that it is. Uh, but final section for here. We need to loop this round. I've seen some of the stuff like that. Um, I've seen things of that sort, but yeah, it's I think I know the type anyway. Let's bring that a little further up. That lets me block it off a little, put a little bit of space between me and the. Yeah, 'cause that'll take through there. Which okay, I think we're getting a route assembled because they can come. They're most likely there's a. I'll probably put a ping that gives them a rough direction, but they'll be able to get to here, see that there is all this, and perhaps get a note to consider trying another way around. Because I'm not going to make it impossible, but I'm not going to make it easy. Let's loop this background here. That doesn't seem... that feels a bit off. Right there, more like that. Could loop them into there. No, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace that black section in the middle there with blue. Turn it into cover. Put a pit there that they can fight across. Little arenas like that will pocket this place around. In fact, this whole section is mostly composed of those. One thing I was considering, and this might be a bad idea, I don't know if this is something I want to explore, but this is going to be a point where the player is infiltrating the city and is meeting up with some auxiliaries who are helping them with the infiltration. And that means in this area at least there's going to be civilians around. Now, I'm kind of now this struck me while I was out earlier as an idea, but I had the thought of say either doing the usual thing where the whenever the fighting starts, the civilians run for cover, that happens, they get out, the fighting goes on, and the alternative, which would be um, the alternative, which would be uh, having civilians be potential targets, but if the player eliminates them, it raises the aggression. If the player starts eliminating civilians, it raises the aggression of the enemy forces. And while I think it'd be an interesting mechanic, I don't know if that's where I want to go with this. It feels like a risky decision. So I'd be curious as to what people think of that. Because at the very least it intrigues me as a concept. kind of behavioral model for AI or for the enemy forces. Okay, so these will be strings of bunkers. I feel like someone is typing, "This is a great idea," or or absolutely not. There are federal agents outside my house. I could even make this standard slalom bunker kind of design a normal way of demonstrating that the player can go this way but shouldn't. Oh, that was me dropping the pen. And let's snap down some enemies here. Mm. I guess hitting from behind, there won't be much cover back there, so let's shave those back sections there open. That way the player can take them down from behind if they need to, or simply sneak by, as I will be allowing some kind of partial stealth to this. Do the same here too, because I'm going to need to, even if the player can come out later in this, there's still going to be that same problem. Wrong colour, slap down more targets. This one needs to be very heavily defended. Make it just a terrible idea to go down. All the little red dots that I'm putting down, those are enemies. If I put a line, it typically means some kind of environmental obstacle. And I apologise if I'm a little lower energy than usual. I have been drawing non-stop for pretty much the past 5 days, and my sleep has been up and down a little. Right, now this bit here, there's going to be a few more targets. Need to put a handful of regular soldiers in each area as well. Just doing things. This should probably be the easiest route, though it is the longest. But I can make this some kind of casual encounter, a couple of little ones here, and one unavoidable one there. So we're dealing with 3, 6, 9, 7, 13 enemies for that. So I reckon I can put in a max of 16 on the way, broken up into chunks rather than the brackets that these have. So let's start with 3 here. Perhaps doing some kind of arrest going on there. Friend just sent me the 2023 workplace meme and by Sarah Anderson, the one that's just sitting at home with your own potted plant in your bed. It's like, I know it makes it harder to socialize working like this, but I still kind of like it. There's 3 there, which leaves me with 13 left, so I'll need to break it up to 4, 4, and 5. Let's make this the 5. No, maybe not. 4, 4, 5. So there is still 1... No, that'll be a 4 in there. Because that'll just be a rear guard. There can be perhaps something pinned down in this area. That'll be where they're meeting up with the Allies, and it could just be a thing where they're pinned down there. And then, because the point of the auxiliaries is to get them through, say, here, I can avoid them joining in with this, so it avoids making that one easier if you've already met up with allies. It's just a point of you don't want to take these routes, and the people who are helping you maybe are willing to take risks but don't have a death wish. Okay, so there will be. I'll put one of those aircraft here. Snag it from here, say it came down in the square. The enemies can be gathered around it, making sure it's not nabbed by the locals, which would be a remarkable achievement to steal one of their gunships. No, what the hell did I just... Oh, that's what I pressed. Turned everything grayscale and... Oh, okay, no, never mind, that's... I forgot I made these sections quite a bit smaller. There's no... That's not happening. I might be able to put a regular vehicle in, though, and explain where it came from by putting some kind of big inaccessible hatch just here. Let's put a plane down. Whoops, that plane is too big for the landing zone. I are smart at design. So yeah, we'll park a vehicle here, which can be currently guarded by 5 who aren't necessarily expecting you when you show up. They will just be there to watch the place and will attack when they see obvious hostiles coming at them. And possibly they've heard the shots from these other directions, because you'll have at least one encounter before you meet them, either here or here. I'll drop this one in. Can have someone leaning up against a wall there. What will I do with the other? What will I do with the other? We need 16, so we need 4 people there. Put someone there talking, because it's unlikely that that the player will come from there and without already going through here unless they go round. Then the other 2 will be watching this way. Again, they have their squad here, so they won't be expecting an attack from on that side. Put two people there watching there, and then a squad of 3 over here. Essentially, this is an easy takedown for the player. If they come through here, they can take the sniper shot. This 3 will be a little better prepared to retaliate, and there is the hidden one around the corner. I'll just decide what kind of weapons they have, if they'll have semi or fully automatic. It's 5, 3, 4, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Need to put a block of 4 here. And this one will be a protected area, but I'll currently have them facing both directions, so there'll be a second or so when these 2 turn around, but these 2 can be taken out early. They're not really a stealth option. And for cover, let's put a railing here, some kind of junction box on the other side. Small cramped place that forces you to get up close, makes it worthwhile to have the shorter ranged, faster firing underslung grenade weapon. Makes it perfect for encounters like these, but worse for ones like here where the engagement range is a bit bigger. Speaking of over here, we need more cover. I think we only want one vehicle, one big troop transport that's currently being serviced, so what do we do with the rest? I can put a railing along here which is stopping vehicles from coming any further because they're moving into a walkable zone. Yes, despite this place being a dystopian settlement, it does still have walkable cities, which is somehow an improvement. What else? I'll put another gated off pitfall just there. I'll actually start labeling those as pits. This place is high up. There's just going to be random drops. But there needs to be a couple more things. Let's put some rubbish there. That encounter to the left of this one is going to just be all junk, I think. Oh no, that'll be put junction stuff in here to cover. This also isn't a fully realized map of all the cover that I'm going to put in. This is just where I feel like it should probably be. To at least give the player something to work with. Speaking of which, over here there needs to be something. Rubble or pipes, perhaps. Something that just kind of sticks out that can be a quick duck behind. Enough time to take out this one and move round. It really is ideal for the player to keep moving anyway. The cover shouldn't be taking them out, or shouldn't be the deciding factor in all their movements. I suppose I could use this one to kind of show that off, leave absolutely no cover there, so it's just a case of stay moving and you avoid damage. Or duck back behind a corner further down. There's a little bit of the boomer shooter in this, I guess. And I was also earlier thinking about the idea of not exactly Doom-style power-ups, but weapon placements of the sort, things to drop around the place to uh, give the player something to find. But I'm not sure what exactly I would drop. It would have to be fairly limited use weaponry, rocket launchers, plasma weapons, that kind of thing, because it necessitates moving. In fact, let's give that a... Oh, did I... No. Thought that counted for some reason. Let's get the nice yellow, and I will put... Let's put this little star in here as some kind of special weapon. It's appropriate it coming with the transport, and if they go that way, they get a weapon. It shows that they are spotted around the map. Here, though... Back to the enemies. Back to the enemies in the cover. Let's put a couple of guys here. Can direct the players that way just by having something in the way. There's no guarantee. But what are they going towards? What is in this box right here? Oh man, my brain is not working today. I don't think I'm going to get through this level entirely today. May have to jump it around a little bit. can't be important. It can't be a vital place because the strong point is facing towards it rather than away from it. So whatever is here isn't going to be significant. I may make this a meeting point, or a village, or I guess a local city square. Makes it easy enough to set up a thing for the player to fight over, but ultimately doesn't have much of value to it. Let's go with in here. These aren't going to be plants. Not sure what they will be yet. Statues, perhaps. Nice solid things nice solid things for them to step behind, but nothing green grows here. Not in whatever this city is called. The idea of fresh air is important. It's Thneedville. Thneed. Villain for the game, Adelicious O'Hare. Whatever his name was. I only ever saw the clips of the Lorax on YouTube. Right, that's them. And I can put another 5 in this place. I think there are a couple out of the fortifications already looking on, and we have a 5th to drop somewhere. I could be harsh and put him there. So if the players do take the most direct route, they come in here and they're dealing with someone right in their face. It's in the spirit of the kind of thing I'm trying to be inspired by. So yeah, I'll take that. And I should put the partial objectives in because they're going to be dealing with 2 things here. So this will be, I guess this will be 2.1. 2.1, they get to there. Here, already decided it's 2.2. And once they get to this area, this is where they receive objective 3. And yes, objective 2 can be entirely skipped. The player just has to fight through the defended places with weapons that are very unsuited to it. They have basic equipment at this point, and they're one of several teams doing things like this. And I will put 3 allies here, pinned up against a place currently dealing with the defending force. No, I should probably at least restrict that somewhat. Yes. Just a building there to make it something to... Don't want to have them coming out right near that strong point, because I may not be able to get the enemy AI to ignore them. A little bit of distance means I can put some kind of border point there for them to not worry about, unless they stray too close and start getting back shots. But here there is going to be a firefight going on. They've already come through here. So let's put 6 down. Buildings, bring the terrain out a little so it's a little more erratic and jagged. I was doing it with the last place, I'm not sure why I stopped. And this lets me stop. This even just lets me start slapping a little more terrain down. Back to the blue. Barrier there. I'll put a ruined vehicle here. It can be what the auxiliaries used and has now been destroyed. So they're now using, or was at least damaged enough to not be usable, so they're using that to fight over. This, I will just put barricades there. It's the back of the strong point. They're going to have something protecting it, even if it's not much. This guy's taking cover up behind trash. He's not very smart. He's probably not even bulletproof. I'm going to need to throw down a lot more cover here to make it interesting. Because otherwise this is a very quick fight. Okay, 6 versus 3. Going to be outnumbered. The player will only have, I think, themselves and one other person. I want to be limiting them quickly at this stage. Don't want to be dealing with too many allied AI, even if I am giving them these for some godforsaken reason. Let's put a sniper back here or something. No, I suppose there could have been a place here for one of the gunships / dropships, but no. I am vastly overthinking this today. Big open space, that's fine. This place has to have explicitly fewer enemies than the strong point, but it still can have a few. Let's put three of those guys looking over the pit, perhaps. One here that can be shot into it. And that's a 4 to a 5, so let's put one more in. The allies aren't going to be very useful, but they still take fire. another one around here. They're defending a lesser known location after all. One that is not very well defended. Perhaps even show this with the little empty pits location just there. It's natural that these kind of places, the idea is to make them heavily defended, but they are being short-staffed. Let's start putting in pipes. This place is a factory location, so let's slam some pipes down somewhere. There. Should I turn that into one? Doesn't actually change its function, except perhaps that you can shoot underneath it, rather than it being more conventional soft cover unless you're at one of the ends. But it varies up the existing terrain that I've showcased. Now this place, we have also established that one of the objectives is sabotaging a fuel line. So I'm going to put a line just along here, running all the way along, at least a little way. Channel you out. Grab the green to tell me where exactly in this section they receive their objective and get the update. They get objective 3, which is the guardhouse, which means I'll want to take it out in this direction again and then down to here. Yeah. I can move a little bit further up. Let's go up to here. And oh no, back to black. Don't want these bright green walls. It's actually along there. There might even be another sort of faux landing strip out here. But that's all just fanciness. I can do without that if needed, so I won't keep it on the map. Okay. Right, that's objective 4 is sabotage the fuel lines. So actually no, okay, I can make, given these pipes are heading this way, I can put objective 4 somewhere in kind of this area, and 3 will be generally that. The map is unfortunately a bit of a false objective, because yes, you're getting a map to figure out where you're going, but it's not as though there are many directions to actually go, based on just on the limitations of what I can do. Let's bring you out to there, make this a decently sized area, and probably put some thick pipelines down here. This is just another one of the indications that they are where they're meant to be, let's say, a kind of, or where they're not meant to be, if we're being honest about it. this up to here, through to the end. No, I'm going to put at least one little moral quandary in here. I need to bring back that yellow, that amber rather, from the tutorial area with some. No, this should be the green, because I'm going to put just a couple of workers in here. They have tools, they could potentially fight, but they're not going to. So this will be this isn't a thing you can even accidentally do. This is just, there are people here. How scared are you of getting detected? And I may just even leave it as it is. There might not be anything that will actually come of one way or the other. Just kind of a little observation, seeing how they react to some neutral parties. Okay, final thing just here. Can I fit a thing in? No, I can't. I definitely can't. If I can't fit it in there, I can't fit it in that even smaller box. But I need to decide what this one's going to look like. Yeah, it can't be important. That doesn't really make much sense to it. This is entirely civilian, so make it a little market. Like a few. Put just this handful of stalls in. Nice and cramped. Classic kind of favela style Call of Duty kind of look to fight over. And for now, I will just put enemies in. I won't count the most of the civilians. Or I probably should put a few in a few places just to get the player used to the idea that not everything has to be shot at. Put guys here. Couple there. And one patrolling through. These things I reckon will be things you can jump into or duck over, so I don't need to make them solid. Well, that's objective 2 taken care of. Took me a bit longer than intended. But now we get to objective 3, acquire the map from the guardhouse. And I already kind of have an idea of how I want this to look. Sort of. So I'm going to start by putting my thoughts onto paper, so to speak. Because this is just going to, because I want to have something that is ascending steadily. Oh, no, I don't need to go quite that far over. Then I'll cut back across there. Should have done it the other way around, I think. Because it is this section, it is higher. Hello. Hey, Skipper, were you having audio trouble, or was it something on my end? Was it just not coming through? Okay, good. It's not a stream issue then. I am forever nervous. Oh no, I've done this again. Pardon me while I transfer everything I accidentally put on my guides layer back to the actual map. I've been doing this a lot recently. Cut, slide down, there we go. Okay, we are back, everything is back in the right place. Yes, yeah, he is. Musa is suffering the same thing. He is. He sent me a picture of the situation up there. Just the everything tinted yellow, looking like the Industrial Revolution again. Next thing you know, Prohibition will hit. Won't be allowed to drink Mountain Dew. Oh, sorry, Mountain Dew. God, this is such a me trouble as well. I have two people in the chat called Don. My chat is Don Dun 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 Dun. Do you think it's like a Santander jingle or something? But yes, you've come into what is turning out to be a little bit of a slower thing, though I'm not as off. I'm not as out of. I'm not as behind as I thought I was. Let's put another one up. No, I can't do it that way. It has to be this way. Oh, I can put a big section up here, make it a landing pad. I like putting those vehicles down, and we need more of them. Can I fit? God, I can't even fit one there. I need to make them really big. Oh, it can stick over the edge this time. It's a landing pad. Who cares? Do what I want. Suddenly losing all coordination in my hand. This is what happens when I. It's me attempting to do something in public. Everything all suddenly goes wrong. Okay. Okay, this location does still need to be bigger. I will stretch the location out just a bit. No, I know what I need to do. I've been forgetting to do this each time. First, this goes this way, and there is another arrow. This time, linking through there because I just need a vague way to convey the scaling height. Let's drag you in, because I've been working in a very small area. So let's just make this little fortified section a bit bigger. Been trying to make a place where I can reuse a lot of similar assets to make something nevertheless look decent. Hmm. reds now. We don't need the blue. And I want to put an automatic weapon down here. Just the one, fairly flatly placed. Oh my. Now this puts them on the other side of this, but I shouldn't make... Oh, I should actually put automatic weapons down in these as well, visibly. Now I've settled on a marker for them. This will be this way, even harder to stop. So I only want one such weapon there. But what do I do with this area? This could be another vehicle point, so I can put a couple more of those down. Oh, by grabbing the blue, I can just copy it over. I have the size decided. This can be... There we go. It's twice now I've made everything grayscale. Going to need another service lift of some kind as well to get them to explain where these vehicles were going. Or just another one of these kind of implied hatches. Here, slide that out. Let's compress all of these. See, there we go. That little size increase on this area has made this more of an option to place. Now we have to figure out Now we have to figure out how this is fortified, because this is going to be a fight to push through. Perhaps making it... This will be a little barricade set here, which I can slap about 6 guards down on, but I can also make it a little easier than it looks by clogging up the entrance with stuff. Like this is the front place where supplies come in. This is the front area where things have to stop and occasionally just get offloaded, but it's not a place that has ever properly been adapted to it. So if I just put some junk in here, that will provide some much needed basic protection. Well, let's put 7 in. Let's put 2 there, 1 there, 2 there. Makes 5, but then I can have just over here 2 more. And for now, let's Let's use that as our elite symbol of some kind. Some kind of special. Isn't necessarily a mini boss worthy enemy, just one that is tougher than usual. Has perhaps a slightly better AI, slightly more effective weapon. At least for the location that they're based in. But that still biases the firepower to come from this side, meaning there is a very good place to hide. So then they push through up to here, which I will trim down into 2 rooms. I haven't heard my favourite song from this artist yet. I'm going to put an optional encounter in here. 5 guards, but all of them at, say, a shooting range. And a wall that one can creep along if they would like. Probably isn't that difficult an encounter, and I will make it a little bit easier by slapping down something just here. Perhaps I should make both of these some kind of stealth possible, but I don't want to overdevelop the stealth mechanics, so I can't do much with that. So maybe not. What do I put here instead then? Break room? Break room. Handful of tables. Kind of mess area. And we'll have just a handful of, let's say 5 sitting around, just kind of having food after a shift down here. Oh, I blanked on this room. Let's put one more vehicle in. Tucked in there, perhaps being unloaded, which gives me an excuse to put crates and such everywhere. Hell, this could be the fuel one, and actually that's a thing. I put enough cover here, it provides a handy buffer against the player accidentally setting off all this, because if they've gone the long way around to avoid this encounter, they don't want to then set this encounter off and and make it suddenly worse for themselves. They can take it if they like, but I'm not going to try and make them. So be along here, some little observation standpoint. Oh, for those who are more recently joining us, this is level 1 of the project I'm working on. The objectives up here are a little more involved, and the areas are as well, hence why we're making a little slower going. Though objective 1 was still very quick. I am indeed suffering. You have my sympathies. Both Dons dealing with both Dons who are sitting in smoke right now. I would invite you over here, but I think by the time you arrived, things would have calmed down. And that wouldn't be much help, and I don't have that money. Hmm. Shove towels around the windows, just as, yeah, essentially draft excluders except with smoke. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's put some cover here. Um, hmm. I want to put some here as well. Like, the idea is stuff that is sabotaging this turret, because this is just a cramped guard section. This way round is also because they want to be able to move around without stepping through a gun barrel. They'll put 3 there plus a 4th who is watching back, because the turret definitely counts for 2 or 3 as it can fire more accurately, though it's more easily destroyed. Now around here. I need to put the objective point in, so let's put it here. Now I'll put just a couple of guards here who are coming out, and then this room here will be where they find the maps they need. Right, that looks... Something about this section here just threw me for some reason. I very suddenly forgot all of my own notes for about 3 seconds. So let's grab that green, put down objective 4. What's that? Them. And yes, as I say, you can... Objective 2 can be entirely skipped if the player is brave enough and has enough ammunition. But at that point you may as well just do the objective. Okay, so they get round to there, they fought through those, they come up onto the landing pad where a ship is currently parked. This is another place where stuff is being just serviced, so there shouldn't be... I want to put a few people up here actually, because it'll just make it a decent culmination of the area. You know, that isn't the culmination anymore. It may be the end of the section of the terrain, but it's not really the culmination of the area. Now it's the end of objective. That technically is here. And let's put a bunch of people down here currently doing their job, ostensibly speaking. 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 a good number. I suppose when there's I'll put another one tucked behind here who will take a few seconds to come out, give them another couple right here. They'll take a few seconds to work their way out so the player can dispatch a couple of things before they show up. But now we're up here. And I'm gonna take kind of a cheap out here. I want them to destroy the fuel line, which will mean going down. So I am going to put in an elevator. To betray all the principles I have thus far. Take that down so I can just at least relocate sections. Because what we have to do, we've got objective 4 here, 5 will be here, then 6 will be out to the side. 6 is this. 5 is this. Still keeping everything kind of self-contained. But now, objective number 4, they've gotten the maps they need, so they know the location of the infrastructure they need to sabotage. Now we just need to actually put stuff down there. I'll put the fuel line, the actual objective that they need to destroy. I'll put just here. That's where they achieve that objective. They destroy that, at which point they head up over it, so to speak, towards the anti-air batteries. That'll do that for now, though. We have our elevator coming out here. Open the same side. It always confuses me when it always is a bit of a shuffle when they open on the on the new side for some reason. I always try and figure out which side of the elevator in a game is going to open first. So. But we do need to decide what's down here, because I don't think it should be many soldiers. I am considering if this should be workers again, plus automated defences. Because this is going to be like an oil pumping station, where the oil is being sent through the pipe. So there should be some security, but mostly it should be maintenance. So let's put this section, which I'll make the security area. Oh, that does need to be a little bit bigger. Also, I'm going to, in the service of doing that, I'm going to get rid of this box, because I left it alone, didn't have any idea what to do with it. It's not necessary. So let's take all this and blow it up a little. Come on, line up a little bit better. That'll do. Same with this. Can link that much closer to there now. I'm getting lots of Discord notifications. I really should have put Do Not Disturb on. Right. This I might make more linear. Send it up around there. They come out in this area. Then they have to go along. Come on. Come on, come on, hands. Pay attention to me this time. You can make it. I believe in you. Okay, so they come out into here, and I'm not going to attack them the moment they come out, but I am going to make it very clear where they are. Pipes and machinery everywhere. Yes, that's right, they have walked into B&Q. The average Home Depot. Shrink that one down a little. Filling this place with cover and they have no clue what to expect with it. Now this area here, I'm going to make one big chamber, and I'm going to make it a bit of an odd killing field. So let's put down some automated defences and then decide how to map around them. Go one here. That's 3, and I'll want... Another one here. And one pointing up here. So my thinking here is I'm going to bring back the weaker... we're going to be bringing back the weaker enemies, or versions of the weaker enemies from the previous level, but with a stipulation that you're now in a much more cramped space. Like this is... There's going to be lots of pipe cover in here, with the idea being you're going to want to try and navigate around these things. Ooh, I know what I can do. Maybe. Yes, let's do that there, then coming out behind it is kind of the point. Put pipes down here. Nice long channel that it can attack down, but if you make if you charge at it from the front, it's probably just going to chew through your health, but you can be moving around it. It's a lateral movement, I guess. Hmm. Have I made a faux pas here? Have I locked myself out of a route? Because they currently have to go directly through at least one turret. Like that's intentional, but well, no, this still works. A little bit less effectively, but it does still work. Since yes, there are points where they do just have to bite the bullet and run across, but they do have a shield. My thinking is if I can make it at least an awkward map to get through, just not awkward, but hard to charge through, then I can put just a few enemies down who can move, and even if they have lighter weapons, the player is having to balance their shielding with the incoming fire from enemies, from turrets, and making sure they don't walk into lines of fire. This I will put just here and make 2 routes round. Oh, not there. And this will be an actual zone for a handful of opponents. I can put actual guards in this area, just a couple, just spawning here, who are perhaps on a break, and then let's get that orange back in. And I'm going to put a couple here, because that puts them having to either risk going that way or that way. This one. Over here. Another large industrial unit. And let's really confuse it. Put a couple just here. Like they can charge down here if they want, and if they're quick, and if they're quick and clever, they can probably avoid a lot of damage. But this is the less hazardous route overall. There's less chance of running into something you can't deal with, and generally just not running straight down into a heavy machine gun. The SOM is not an effective strategy, folks. It just isn't. Anyone who tells you it is a fool. Down into here. Oh. And I think that's the. And I think I'm good with the automatic turrets there. I don't want to have. I don't want to flood with loads more now. That seems awful. I'm already. There needs to have like a half-second targeting time, I guess, to give the player a chance to rush across their zone. But even then, using them egregiously, like that's the one place I'm going to do so, I think. Here I'll just make it workers, and here I'll make it actual security. I'd like to make a game that can be decently challenging, but I mostly want to make one that works, and that has a certain satisfying feel to it. God, this base had better be incredible. Yeah. There we are. Back on the nice stuff. This is some proper dreamscape stuff here. This is listening to whale music, and this is going on the this is a whole this is a whole imagination sequence thing. I'll put one automated turret here for a treat. What the hell? Eh? That was a very pink turret. The other thing to important to note is that these things can be destroyed, but I need to. No, not the button I'm trying to press. So instead I'll use that, just as a way to... Essentially it turns it into a form of terrain. Can be taken out just by yeeting a grenade at it. But I'll leave that there for now. And my usual complement of safety rails, because this is a big bit of piping that people are guarding. Let's put 3 here, 1 there, 2 ducts behind there, so that's 5, 6. And I will put a group of 4 coming down as group 1, coming down from there. They don't use because the no, group of 6. The player can deal with that. These are regular soldiers. They're regular soldiers, and by all accounts, the player has plot armor at this point. Yeah, we might actually not quite get this level finished today. Now they're pushing through there. This is the working section. I'll do a similar thing of putting a little break area here. That just a couple of these workers are chilling around. Couple playing cards, couple just having drinks. They're breaking the, frankly, horrendous working conditions of the kind of deep hive style piping. No, I don't want to make the largest engineer I've ever designed. I'm already working on that off stream. These will be big processing units. Perhaps dealing with overspill from the piping. I couldn't put a special weapon down here, that's a problem. think I could get away with that. Around here. As usual, these are being worked on. This is where most of the people are doing things. And I can afford to have more of these than usual, because they are weaker and they should not be too much of a threat unless the player is already having a tough time. Mm. 3, 4, 5, guess potentially 6 versus 7. That's fine for me. That seems enough to keep their attention. And these ones will be ones that are actually fighting back, so. I'll need different gear for them though. Laser pistols and the like. But now we have here. They get to there, they blow up they put the charges on the pipe and get out. It blows behind them and sabotages the military's fuel supply. They then need to destroy some anti-air batteries. So first off, I need to put down blocks to decide where those are. And I want these to be fairly continuous fights. There's a lot to give the players a lot to be dealing with. So what we will do, I'll put a battery at the end of each of these, which means I can also close off that area, because they'll have to go up here anyway, then they can double back. And this is just a demo charge objective. So I'll put that there. 5.1. Then this is of course 5.2. Now we can put some spawns down. God. I'm skipping this one. That start is obnoxious. Nope, it's... Maybe that'll do. A rough few songs. I'm starting to regret this playlist. So this is a group, and this will show up when 5.1 does. And I'll do another one with 5.2. When they get here, there's going to be mostly enemies shooting at them from across here. But I'm also going to put 4 opponents around each of these, because they are the crew for it, because these things are, well, manpower is the main thing here. And these will be the batteries, the anti-air batteries will be fairly static until the players get close to them. So let's slap down some cover again. Grab another one of these vehicles. We know how this song and dance goes. Left or right, what do we think? left? I think right, because if I put it on the left, then they have something really easy to take cover behind, some big thing object that they can just duck behind against the fire, which is going to be inaccurate at that distance. So I'll leave that there, because it'll be handy for the enemies once the party moves across. And we will start. And now we need to put down stuff on this side. I'm going to put a couple of. These will be like loader vehicles that ferry shells back and forth. Or this could be the loader itself. No, that would be a too easy thing to sabotage, I guess. There'll have to be vehicles, otherwise they could sabotage them from much earlier, and I want them to actually get up to the guns themselves. Oh, and for any of those interested in my home cooking, hopefully tomorrow I will be putting something up on. I'll be hopefully putting something up on Twitter. I've got a plan to make some stuffed pasta shells with minced turkey and bacon and cheese. It's going to be a very compelling meal, I'm sure. I appreciate your enthusiasm each time, Skipper. Given that it's half the time, given that half the time I make meals that you just can't eat for one reason or another. It's like you're living vicariously through me. Like, this sounds tasty. If it were a world, I could have it. Yes, not surprising. Like, three reasons and I imagine that three reasons, and at least one of them is a thing that sounds like that is almost a common illness, but not quite. I'm gonna leave this side of the place quite barren, I think. I'll put a few cases and such here as a place to duck in behind and cover, but I'll leave this mostly empty so the player actually has to keep moving like through the gunfire to get to the objective they need. This I will link to here. Just very, very straight. I very much miscalculated the space. I'm gonna bring this out now. I don't need to keep it in this tiny little space. Okay. So I think objective 5 has been taken care of. It looks like a quick thing, but it is a ride through, because they get to here, take this one out, enemies spawn, they move to here, take this out, more enemies spawn to properly block their route through here. But once they've destroyed that, once they've pushed back to here and dealt with the counter-attack, I guess that's where they'll counter objective 6. So let's put objective 6, say, there, which is to board the train. Now, how do I make this interesting? Because or do I not bother? Do I make this a a relatively straightforward departure now. No, doesn't seem right. The place is dealing with several sabotages. They know something's up, so the train needs to be guarded. Which means I'm going to need to figure out a new way onto it. First, let's put the train down. Actually get the objective in. It's going to be another very similar thing, but let's put it there. And let's make it that side. So if I just take this off the edge of the area, and keep in mind this is all this train area is well below what is well below this, so it wouldn't actually, or it's above or something, but it won't actually intersect this area. Oh no, easier option. Without figuring out how exactly everything crosses over, I just rotate it. Then what I can do is put a partial objective in. Open that up a bit. Slide that there. Back to green. And they'll get to objective 6, and I guess they can get to here-ish. Realize that the crossing they need in order to board is blocked. Have to route up to here to unlock it and receive the original objective, at which point they go back to board here. Which will make that the end of the level. Puts at least some kind of barrier against their progress. I could, if I was feeling vindictive, put a timer in. But that seems a bit much. Gonna pop this out a bit more as well. Just a tiny bit. This could be a simple platform with just a couple of enemies down it to finish the level off. Make the players feel good about themselves by boarding an area where people have just gotten off. But we're going to need to Oh god. Okay. Oh. Okay. Sorry, Twitch is giving me just a couple of issues here. And based on the time, I'm not sure I'm even going to get Objective 6 completely done. So I think it's probably safest for me to start wrapping this up here with a couple of minutes left to go. But well, as ever, I appreciate everyone who came to see this. Um, help everyone who came to watch me work through this strange little project of mine that I have less an idea of what I'm doing than I really think I do. And now we're out of the tutorial level, it's much less clear how to structure things, and I'm having to think more about it. But it could be worse. We got most of the way through this level. I'll finish it off at the start of next Wednesday's game dev. The next stream will be on Friday, though, where I'll be continuing on with drawing that Goliath Inquisitor that I was working on last week. I've made a couple of little tweaks to it, just as I realised what was bothering me about the design that I was getting wrong. So I've corrected that just a little, and I've had a little practice since, thanks to all the channel art I've been doing. If I'm still trying to grow this channel, so if anyone has some people who they think might be interested, perhaps let them know. Uh, point them here, and I'll be streaming plenty of different game things and more art going forward. I'm yes, one off. So yes, Friday will be art. Uh, Saturday will be continuing on with Timesia, though finishing off and possibly even finishing that off if we're lucky. And I've started the process of saving VODs to YouTube. Once I've got that absolutely sorted, I'll probably put a link to it here as one of the site links so people know where to find them if they want to watch anything after the 7 days are elapsed. Since Twitch doesn't save VOD for very long for me. Not yet anyway. Now to end this time, if I'm not mistaken, I may be able to send us somewhere. Yeah, I reckon I can. I reckon this time I can. I reckon this time I'm going to send us somewhere since Lucy is currently playing Mass Effect. So let's close this out by. So I'm going to close this out with a raid. Again, thanks for everyone who showed up. I'll hopefully see some of you again on Friday or one of the next few things. I've got plenty of content lined up and plenty more art coming out on Twitter as well. But until then, that'll be me signing off. See ya.